Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality. While listening, you'll be exposed to inspiring, empowering, and unifying perspectives that I'm highly confident will yield stellar results in your life if you opt to try them on for size. Also, at Optimistic.tv, we have officially begun releasing the first few episodes of our new late-night style, consciousness-elevating video variety talk show, Optimistic, which features live visionary art, soul share interviews, retreat guests here at the Mystic Manor, as well as live musical performances. I'm also super excited to announce that we are currently making plans to release the rest of Season 1 on my personal favorite online streaming service. So stay tuned to Optimistic.tv to follow the unfolding development of this exciting Optimistic expansion, as we'll be posting more info and release dates there soon. And in the meantime, be sure to check out, of course, the first few episodes at Optimistic.tv as well.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning your beautiful brainwaves in today. I know it is a extremely challenging time in our world right now, especially if you are in the United States. And, you know, today I always want to maintain the positivity and keep it light. But I also want to address some of the things that are going on. And that means we need to look at the problems. This is not a time to argue, to fight. This movement is here because people need to be heard. And the problem is that we haven't been listening. And so now shit is hitting the fan. Because, unfortunately, as humans, we need a really big whack upside the face in order to pay attention sometimes. As sad as it is to say. It takes something huge in order for us to pay attention. And it's time for us to make some very, very, very big changes. And so, a lot of darkness is coming to light. We have got to understand that this issue of racism in this country is very real. It has been around for centuries. And I ask the question, why has it continued in this way? What are the causative factors in its holding power? Because these fears, these beliefs, have no basis in truth whatsoever. And so, how is this belief system, this bias, this prejudice being sustained throughout the centuries? And that leads me to start thinking about the bigger picture and about our systems and about the changes that need to happen there. It is completely unacceptable that anyone in this country, regardless of race, religion, gender, would have to have any fear whatsoever for being born who they are. That is not what this country was founded on, and that is not the country that I know that we want to live in. And so it's time for us all to listen so we can make some changes. I was thinking of a couple ideas, a couple of changes that need to be made. And I honestly have no idea how to even go about doing any of this, but I want to put it out there because somebody does. Someone's an implementer. I'm an idea person. So I want to share some ideas. I was curious how this police officer who murdered George Floyd, how he was able to remain on the police force with this type of fear and hatred within him. How is that allowed? I thought about the police entrance exam and knowing that all the police officers have a psychological test. But then I wondered, how old is that test? What does that test even look for? So I looked it up. You know what the first thing I found was? How to pass the police psychological exam. Yeah, that's a problem. How to pass it. Okay, let's start there. First of all, we obviously need more strict requirements. Second of all, I feel like this test needs a reevaluation, and we probably need a new test that has other guidelines and other parameters. Testing for fear, for hatred, for racial bias, all of it. And this test should be updated regularly by very smart psychologists and people who do this type of thing. And every police officer should be retested every 3 months. And sooner if there is a traumatic event that happened. And if they don't pass that test, they need to take a break. During that break, they will get counseling and they will still get paid. And to account for the shortage in staff, we have volunteer police officers just like we have volunteer firefighters. It would provide an amazing system of checks and balances. Now, that seems like something that is quite easy that we could do. The test itself might take some obvious time to rework, but if we can put this system in place and have these checks and balances in place, we'll have a way better system, especially in law enforcement. Because I think it's really important that we come together, we support one another, and we show each other how much we love one another, because it is not okay. It is not okay that any one of our family members is struggling because of the color of their skin, because of the way society is treating them, because of an ingrained bias that has been taught to us. It's not fair, and it needs to stop. And in order to make it stop, yes, it starts with an individual level, but we also need to change our systems. It's a must. We need to have zero tolerance policies in our schools. It needs to start in preschool, for flip's sake. And how awful is that we need to start that early? Because these children are starting that young. My daughter's first experience with this was probably, she was 3 or 4. There needs to be a zero tolerance policy in all daycares, in all grade schools, in all high schools, in all colleges, in every business. I don't care, everything. If there is racist remarks, if there is hatred, you are suspended. You are not welcome here for the next 24 hours. You're not, whatever the rules are with school, you're suspended for the day or the week or whatever it may be, depending on the severity of the occurrence. Zero tolerance. My daughter got suspended one day in school because she had scissors, little craft scissors, and a little girl asked her to cut her hair. So she did. She cut her some bangs. I got a phone call because my child had paraphernalia, a dangerous weapon, at school, and she was suspended for the day. Now, if we can do that over a pair of fucking craft scissors,
then we can have a zero tolerance policy for anyone who says anything hateful to a child, to an adult, to anyone. It is no longer acceptable. It is no longer acceptable that any one of our families have to be afraid for their safety. I just want us all to live happy, healthy, peaceful lives, because that's all we all want, where we respect one another. And it's okay if we have different opinions, because no one's ever going to agree. And we gotta stop fighting. Fighting will get us absolutely nowhere. It will just continue us down this path of staying separated and being mad and hating one another. And right now, being mad, it's necessary. It sure is. Because it's getting us somewhere. And I'm certainly not condoning violence, but, unfortunately, as humans, we really need that 2x4 over the head for us to get it. And I think a lot of us are getting it. I think a lot of us are starting to realize the pain and suffering and anguish that our family lives with every day. And it's not okay. And so, I also want to put out a call to, as a white person, I know, and this is very shameful to admit, but I know that there are times when I've kept my mouth shut, and I shouldn't have, because I felt uncomfortable, because I was outnumbered, because I didn't want to start an argument, whatever the reason may be. We've all done that. Every single white person listening, I know you've done it. It's no longer, I can't even not cry, you guys. I'm trying to get myself together and talk. It is no longer acceptable. It never was acceptable, but now we understand what the fuck we're doing. Hopefully we're getting it. And, when this kind of stuff happens in front of us, we don't need to start a fight. We don't need to get angry. We can just very groundedly, very peacefully, sternly say, that's not okay, and we can do better. That's it. That's not okay, and we can do better. Because I know innately, we all know this, and we all need to help each other forward with this and support one another and hold each other's hands and help one another understand and listen. Listen to the pain and the suffering of those who are in pain and those who are suffering. Think about this in any other situation. Let's take race out of it for a moment. You have someone who comes to you in grief and despair. What do? You listen. You have compassion, empathy. You see if there's a way that you can help. You don't ignore it. You don't stuff it under the rug. You'll be all right. Pick yourself up from your bootstraps, kiddo. It's not how we roll. We need to do better. And I know that we can. And I know that we are. And I'm seeing day by day more and more peaceful demonstrations, more and more people coming out, more and more people supporting one another. And we can do more and more of this. We just need to understand what's going on and how our family is feeling, and have a whole lot of compassion and empathy. A whole lot. Now, another thing I want to say about all of this is, what I noticed before all of this started happening was a divisiveness that was starting to brew within our communities, within our families. People starting to disagree about the virus and how to behave. Wear a mask or don't wear a mask. Get vaccinated or don't get vaccinated. Writing off somebody for their opinions.
We're not friends anymore because you don't agree. We started to do this thing, and I'll tell you a little story. I was seeing like 15 to 20 patients a day when I was working for a short time there in the beginning of this. And some people came in with masks. And as soon as they came into the office with me, they would take the mask off. And I found it really curious because what made me safe and not the people sitting in the waiting room with you or the girls at the front desk? Why am I safe? How did you make that distinction? I'll tell you what, I'm probably the least safe person in that place. I'm the one seeing all the patients with close contact, right? Makes no sense. But what was it? What was the bias inside that person that said, I was okay? You know what? Not okay. It's not okay. These biases, these internal biases, we don't even know where they come from. They're programmed within us. We need to take a really good, healthy look inside of ourselves because this is a collective problem. This is a collective problem. And so I applaud all of you who are learning, all of you who are standing strong, all of you who are looking within and seeing where you are also to blame in this. There's not a single one of us that isn't to blame. Collectively. This is a collective issue. It's a part of all of us. What's in one is in the whole. It goes for everything. I love you all so much. Let's listen more, understand one another more, respect one another, stick up for one another. Always. There's no more being quiet. There's no more accepting hatred. It's not socially acceptable anymore. Got it? We can make that contract today. It is not socially acceptable. It's going to be the opposite. It's going to be socially unacceptable to not stand up. That's the society that we're creating. Zero tolerance. So much love. I send you all so much love. I want to give all of our family so much love and a huge hug. I'm going to leave you all with a song. This is Nako and Medicine for the People. Directions. Until next time, everyone. Love you all.
And if you're feeling the call to come for a week retreat-style Mystic Manor immersion, remember to go now and book your time to speak with me directly about stepping into the optimistic vortex at calendly.com/talkwithbrandon while there are still spots left. Otherwise, I look forward to co-creating magic with you at the Mystic Manor.
For the west, for the north, for the east, for the south, Grandfather, I'm calling on you, need your guidance now. Grandmother, I'm calling on you, need your guidance now. For the west, for the north, for the east, for the south, need your guidance now. Am I there? I'm calling on you. Need your guidance now. For the west, for the north, for the east, for the south. Provided I'm calling on you. Need your guidance now. For the west, for the north, for the east, for the south. Grandfather, I'm calling on you. Need your guidance now.